Most people don't realize they're underpaid or mismanaging their money until one quiet moment forces the thought into focus. You open your banking app, you see your balance, you remember the raise you got last year, 3%, maybe 4%, and for a brief second it feels like progress. Then reality catches up. Rent is higher, groceries cost more, insurance went up again, healthcare is more expensive, everything in your life costs more, except the thing that's supposed to support it. According to U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics real wage data and OECD income reports updated through 2025, real wage growth for middle-income earners has barely outpaced inflation over the past decade. In practical terms, many people are working harder, earning more on paper, yet feeling financially stuck. And here's the uncomfortable truth most people never hear. That stagnation is rarely an accident. It isn't just inflation. It isn't bad luck. It's the predictable result of how money flows through your life once it hits your account, combined with behavioral patterns that quietly keep people stuck for years without realizing it. One of the most misunderstood things about wealthy people is how unremarkable their money behavior actually is. From the outside, it looks like wealth comes from bold bets, secret investments, or perfectly timed market moves. Social media reinforces that illusion every day with screenshots of overnight gains, crypto wins, and dramatic success stories. But when you step back and study how financially stable and wealthy households actually manage money across income levels and economic cycles, a very different picture appears. It's far less exciting and far more reliable. Wealth is built through a simple system that removes emotion, guesswork, and impulse from financial decisions. After years of analyzing household finance data, behavioral research, and real-world outcomes, a clear pattern shows up again and again. Wealth is not determined by how much money you make in a given month. It's determined by what happens to that money after it arrives. You can earn a high income and still feel constantly behind if your money has no structure. Meanwhile, someone earning significantly less can build long-term security by following a clear, repeatable framework. This is where most people go wrong. When they get paid, money becomes reactive. Bills pull from it. Wants compete for it. Leftovers, if any, are saved or invested. Wealthy people reverse this logic. They assign roles to money first, then live inside those boundaries. One of the most commonly observed systems behind this behavior can be summarized as a simple allocation framework often referred to as the 15-65-20 rule. These numbers represent percentages, not rigid commandments, and they serve specific psychological and financial purposes. Think of it not as a budget, but as a financial operating system. Every dollar gets a job, and those jobs never compete. The first and most critical component is the 15% allocated to your future. This portion is never touched for day-to-day expenses or short-term wants. Its sole purpose is to protect and grow your long-term stability. For many people, 15% sounds intimidating, especially when money already feels tight. But the importance of this number isn't just about saving. It's about resilience and compounding. This allocation serves two functions at once. First, it creates a financial buffer. According to Federal Reserve household finance surveys, most financial stress doesn't come from catastrophic events. It comes from relatively small, unplanned expenses that trigger panic. When you remove panic, decision quality improves. Problems become inconveniences instead of crises. The second function is growth. This money is meant to work. Over time, compounding becomes the most powerful force in personal finance, not because returns are spectacular, but because consistency allows growth to accelerate quietly. Starting earlier with smaller amounts often produces better outcomes than starting later with larger contributions. Time, not brilliance, is the advantage. Where this money lives matters. Wealthy households prioritize tax-advantaged accounts whenever possible. Employer retirement plans with matching contributions, individual tax-sheltered accounts, and long-term investment vehicles designed to reduce tax drag are foundational tools. Ignoring them is equivalent to declining free leverage. Government and institutional data consistently show that tax-efficient investing can add tens of thousands of dollars to lifetime net worth without increasing risk. When it comes to how this money is invested, the approach is deliberately boring. Broad, diversified, low-cost funds dominate these portfolios. Instead of chasing individual winners or timing markets, wealthy investors buy exposure to the overall economy. This reduces emotional interference and decision fatigue. Over long horizons, global market growth has proven more reliable than individual stock selection. Low fees quietly amplify results because even small cost differences compound into large gaps over decades. Consistency beats cleverness almost every time. The second major allocation, 65% for core living expenses, is where outcomes are quietly decided. This category includes housing, transportation, food, utilities, insurance, and other true necessities. What separates financially stable households from everyone else isn't deprivation, it's constraint. Expenses are intentionally capped to prevent lifestyle expansion from consuming future opportunity. Economists have long documented lifestyle inflation, the tendency for spending to rise alongside income. Without boundaries, raises rarely create freedom. They simply upgrade obligations. This next mistake costs people more than bad bosses or bad degrees. Housing decisions alone can determine whether wealth compounds or stagnates. Choosing a slightly smaller space or less fashionable location early in life can redirect hundreds of dollars per month toward assets that grow. Transportation follows the same pattern. The average car payment in the U.S. now exceeds $700 per month. That money is flowing into a rapidly depreciating asset. Meanwhile, a reliable used vehicle might cost half that, freeing cash flow for investments that compound. Over 10 years, that difference can quietly grow into tens of thousands of dollars. Food spending highlights the difference between necessity and habit. You need to eat. You don't need constant convenience and entertainment disguised as food. Wealthy households tend to be intentional here, cooking more often and treating dining out as a choice, not a default. The goal of the 65% allocation isn't perfection, it's awareness. When spending is conscious, money stops leaking unnoticed. Now consider a common scenario. A 35-year-old professional with 10 years of experience, solid performer, no drama, started at $45,000 a year. Today earns just under $60,000. On paper, that looks fine. But adjusted for rent, food, insurance, and healthcare, life feels tighter than it did a decade ago. He doesn't feel broke. He feels stuck. That's the most dangerous zone, because nothing feels urgent enough to force change. Most people hear this part and still do nothing. That's why they stay stuck. The final allocation, 20% for enjoyment and flexibility, is often misunderstood and psychologically critical. This category exists to make the system sustainable. Humans are not wired for permanent restriction. Behavioral finance research consistently shows that overly rigid plans fail not because they're mathematically flawed, but because they're emotionally unsustainable. Deprivation breeds rebellion. Wealthy individuals design around this reality. By deliberately allocating money for enjoyment, guilt is removed from spending. Vacations, hobbies, small luxuries, and spontaneous experiences are no longer threats to long-term goals. They're planned components of a balanced system. This prevents the cycle of extreme saving followed by impulsive overspending. When enjoyment is intentional, discipline becomes easier. The boundary matters. When the 20% is spent, it resets next cycle. There is no borrowing from the future and no erosion of the investment category. This protects long-term progress while allowing life to be enjoyed in the present. Imagine waking up at 45. Same job, same habits, same patterns. Another decade passed quietly. The raises came, expenses came faster. Nothing collapsed, but nothing changed either. Regret doesn't arrive as panic. It arrives as the realization that you waited too long to treat your financial life intentionally. This is where income growth and wealth actually come from, and almost nobody explains it this way. Treat your financial life like a portfolio, a skill asset that increases earning power across industries, an income asset that scales or compounds, a network asset that creates access before opportunities are public, and an optionality asset, the ability to walk away without panic. Systems that compound are diversified. Systems that stagnate are concentrated risk. The power of this framework isn't in the exact percentages, it's in the philosophy. Wealth is built through repeatable decisions, not dramatic moves. If full adoption isn't realistic right now, that's normal. Start imperfectly. 5% saved can become 10. 75% expenses can move towards 65. Direction matters more than precision. As income grows, the structure scales. Raises strengthen every category instead of disappearing into higher spending. This is how wealth builds quietly over time without constant willpower. The difference compounds fast. Someone who assigns roles to money, negotiates intentionally, upgrades skills, builds networks, and stays inside a system often ends up in a radically different position within 5 years compared to someone who stays reactive and hopeful. Not because they're smarter, because they're deliberate. The system doesn't trap people with chains. It traps them with comfort, routine, and quiet assumptions. 5 years from now, do you want to look back and realize you stayed safe or that you built leverage? Comment the word leverage if you're done letting default systems decide your financial future. That one word tells me who's building optionality and who's still waiting. Subscribe if you want calm, practical money strategy every week instead of viral noise. And like this video so it reaches someone lying awake tonight, wondering why working hard still doesn't feel like progress.